Hello, our next guest is David Frerichs, President of Media Tuners. David, welcome, and please, if you could introduce yourself to our crowd.
Absolutely, thank you. So I'm David Frerichs, President of Media Tuners. I've actually been working in what's now called the Internet of Things space for quite some time. Back doing the first internet radios with Philips around 2001. And then more recently doing things with Toyota to do connected cars, voice-controlled dashboards, and now most recently doing smart lighting and beacon-based solutions for not only healthcare and retail, but also in the home.
So our topic of today is programmable homes. I would love to get your thoughts and influence in that area.
Yeah, so what's really interesting is that I have had a chance to walk the show floor, at least part of it so far. And you see that there's a lot of excitement about the programmable home and the smart home and smart devices in the home. But what's interesting to me is that there's a lot of heat, but it's a mess. And it really, and actually I'm not the only person who's actually said that. I've heard other people say, oh, there's so much going on, it's a mess. And the question is, why is that? Well, if you look at it, we've actually had home automation solutions in the market for almost 15 years now. I mean, if you look all the way back, if you think now, like, oh, now we have Hue, we have Wemo, we have the newcomers Wink, we have these solutions that are out there, but we had X10 back in like 99, 2000 also doing smart automation. So, and things haven't really progressed. It's all these technologies that are basically being created by technologists for enthusiasts. And so you're getting some traction there, but you're not getting the mass market adoption that people really need. So I think that the solutions that are out there actually could be pretty much DOA on arrival.
So, and that's an interesting point. So how do we get to more of a mass adoption or mainstream adoption where we're providing value going forward?
So the way that I look at it, obviously I have one opinion, right? But so when I look at this problem, I look at the home requirements with two basic requirements that really aren't being met today. One is that to be some kind of a smart home product, you have to have the controlling mechanism with you always. Well, we've kind of solved that problem with the phone, right? So we have this thing with us always, so we can solve that problem. The second, and this is where so far everybody has missed it, is that a smart device needs to be a device first. So it can't just be something that is for enthusiasts that's like a smart thing that happens to be a device. If I'm building a smart light bulb, it needs to be a darn good light bulb first and foremost.
Right.
And so if you have this kind of a thing where you're saying, okay, I want to build a smart device, I want it to talk to my phone. So you have a number of different technology options. You can talk via Wi-Fi, talk via Bluetooth, or Bluetooth Low Energy. Wi-Fi, that's interesting because now you can actually talk directly there, but that's prohibitively expensive. So that pushed us into the Bluetooth Low Energy space. Those are ubiquitous on the phone, and that's actually very cheap to integrate. For a couple bucks, you can actually now make any product smart. And so you have the Bluetooth Low Energy, but what's the problem with that? The problem with that is range. So how do you solve the range problem? Actually, companies like CSR are coming out with meshed Bluetooth networks. So you can actually not only use Bluetooth Low Energy to communicate with the phone, but as long as devices are within range of one another, it creates a very broad network so you can control the devices from anywhere in your home all across your property. So that creates some really interesting capabilities.
So the devices then, they actually start to communicate and pass communication along?
Exactly.
Very interesting. So I'd love to understand, how does Media Tuners fit into that space?
So on our side, we are really working with some customers who are really kind of get it, right? And so that's exciting for us. And what I mean by that is that they're building products that are devices first. And so if you're going to build a smart light bulb or a smart switch or a smart plug, building the device first. And that means that it's got to just work out of the box as a device, right? If you want to have a light bulb, you got to flip the switch, it's going to have to work. It also has to be in the same cost range. And so Philips Hue, for example, is a great light bulb, but cost-wise, even when they do cost reductions on it, requires a hub and it requires this complex integration. And the cost isn't like just going down and buying something off the shelf at Home Depot. It has to be in that same cost range. And then you have to have the consumer experience be something that, again, is as easy as flipping a switch. And so we're really kind of working to put together one of those solutions that really fits that bill. And you notice maybe I haven't mentioned the cloud, which is really kind of interesting, right? So
the cloud is everywhere. So
well, the cloud is everywhere, but I think actually in the home, it's in too many places.
Really?
And yeah, so that's funny for like somebody who like is cloud-centric to be talking like that, right? But what happens today is that the cloud can be used as a crutch. And so you put functionality into the cloud, and that actually can create privacy concerns in the home. If I want to turn on my light, I shouldn't have to have an account somewhere. I should just be able to turn on the light. I shouldn't have to have some kind of remote connectivity. So you need to make the cloud available, but the cloud has to be value added. And when you go out on the show floor and you say, hey, tell me, what is the cloud being used for smart home? They're like, oh, well, you can actually use it to change the color of your lights if your favorite team wins. And I'm like, great. So the cloud needs to be there, and we're definitely putting that into our solutions, but it needs to have an actual value add. And it's not the centerpiece, because in the home, the smart device has a lot of capability. So preserve the customer's privacy by making things anonymous and keeping things smart in the home. And then add things like a hub or add things like cloud capability where it's truly going to add value to the consumer. So Media Tuners is actually producing kind of an end-to-end software solution along that whole front, where we have the cloud-based capability to do some of these interesting applications that are actually value added, but then also doing the mobile client software, as well as doing the firmware that goes into the devices themselves.
Well, excellent. Thank you for joining us today, David, and we appreciate your input.
No, thank you.